Welcome to the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Investing Podcast with your hosts, Jack and Michelle Bosch. Together, let's uncover the secrets to building true wealth through real estate and living a purpose-driven life.
Hello everyone, Jack Bosch speaking here. We are super excited to be here with you. Super excited to kick off 2022. 2022 is going to be epic for you, for us, for everyone who is willing to put one step in front of the other, who is willing to actually grab it and own it and take it because it's yours to be here, right? First of all, happy New Year, right? From the Land Profit community, from the Land Profit warrior communities, right? To the Land Profit warriors in this community. Why do I say warriors? Because, hey, to do anything in life, to run any business, you got to have that warrior mentality, right? The warrior mentality of like not taking no for an answer, of pushing through, of not letting a day or two or a week of lack of motivation, of distraction or illness or something distract you from your goal, right? That's what it takes to be successful. Who is committed to being there? Who is committed to making 2022 their biggest success? Give me a heck yes. And I see Beth is here, and Thea is here, and David is here. So super excited about that, right? So I hope you had some wonderful time for the family. It's holiday season. So we almost shut down our company over the holidays in order to, we kind of kept it at a minimum kind of range. Probably 2/3 of our team was on vacation over the holidays, and that was wonderful. So we kept the doors open to provide support for our coaching students, to provide for support for you guys, and be there for emergencies and things like that. But other than that, everyone took a wonderful time off. Hey, thank you, Alicia Barbara, for the heck yes. Everyone had a time off, and hopefully you came back recharged and ready to make 2022 the epic year, a year of breakthrough, and a year where you finally break out from the crowd, break out from the pack, right? We thought a lot about our first video for the Land Profit, what this Land Profit video, this first Winning Wednesday here, what his first session could be this year. And we are decided that it's going to be a State of the Union address, right? But once a year I go live, or Michelle and I go live together. She's a little bit under the weather today, so I'm doing it alone. And we decided to make it a State of the Union address and give you clarity. We want to give you the clarity that you need and deserve to take action in 2022 based on our experience of having done this going on 20 years. We got our first deal accepted on December of 2002, and now we're in 2022, right? So we're about 11 months away from having been in this land flipping business for 20 years. And as a matter of fact, if you add the time that it took us to develop it and figure it out and make it great, well, we are actually in it for over 20 years. So we have seen the market, guys. We have seen the market go up. We've seen the market go down. We've seen the market go sideways. And we have seen the market as it is today. And I'm here to tell you that the market has never been better than it is today. It has never been better than it is today. So again, as the number one incubator of land investing businesses and land investing success, right? As the Harvard of land flipping, as the Four Seasons of land flipping, we're excited to share with you the new things that are coming down the pipeline here and coming down the pike that we have been working behind the scenes, both in our coaching side of things, but also in a market analysis of what we believe the market is going to bring this year for all of you. So who is excited about that, right? Who is excited about hearing what the market will bring? Give me another heck yes here. So with that said, let's go into that. So, and if you're watching this, by the way, if our team decides to make this a podcast, then you have the chance of also watching this as a podcast video. But if you watch this as a podcast, make sure you come over to our Facebook group, right? Make sure you come over to us and join us on Facebook too, because that's where we do a lot of these videos initially, as you can see right now, right? With that said, guys, let's talk about the State of the Union address for 2022, right? Beth Probst can do this business without investment dominator. Absolutely, right? Yeah, it's a killer app. If you do not use it, then go get in contact with one of our concierges, right? get in contact, put a comment below this video, say like, I need Investment Dominator, right? Whether you watch this on YouTube, whether you watch this somewhere else, or just go to landprofitgenerator.com, click on support and contact our team to put you together with somebody that can help you get access to the Investment Dominator, right? So with that said, let's talk about the State of the Union, drum roll. So about once a year, we go and we look at, Michelle and I talk about the market, talk about what we see all day long. Michelle and I are part of multiple coaching organizations, multiple coaching groups. Like we spend 6 figures a year in our own education, right, and our own expansion of our minds, of our attitudes, of our growth, of our personal growth, really. And part of that is also being in group with other entrepreneurs that are in other industries and or that are in our own industry. Both is the case, and that we can see, like we can build a little bit of a crystal ball and see into the future, at least to some degree. And at least some really smart people can communicate together and actually exchange ideas of what they think the market's going to happen. And Here's what I think the market, and Michelle and I agree on that. Here's what we think the market is going to be like in 2022. Well, first, in order to do a prediction of the market of 2022 or the state of the union of where we are, what we think is going to happen, let me turn actually back and look at what has happened in 2021. Well, in 2021, obviously, there's still this one subject matter that starts with a big C and ends with Ovid, right? So, this has still been around, right? We won't get rid of it anytime soon. And what it essentially has done is the following. It has converted us as a country, as a world really, into a more virtual world by a leaps and bounds, right? Now, our company has been a virtual company for 6 years already. We became virtual in 2016. Now we're in 2022. So that's 6 years. So we spent 2016. We gave up our office. We sent everyone home, and we started working 100% virtual from at home. So when COVID hit, to us, there was no change of our daily processes. There was no change in how we continue to communicate. As a matter of fact, COVID was an opportunity for us to grow, right? Because now we could attract the best talent from anywhere in the world, really. As a result, we have a valued team member in South Africa, multiple. We have team members in the Philippines. We have team members in Mexico. We have lots of team members in the United States, in all corners of the United States, from Virginia to Oregon, to Texas, to Florida, to Arizona, and team members sometimes move from coast to coast, and it does not affect our business in the slightest. Guess what, though? We are not alone in the world, right? The same is happening to others. Now, when the world went ballistic in 2020 and everyone was sent home when COVID started in March, right? Or when COVID became rampant in March, when everyone home, working from home was looked at as a nuisance. It was looked at as a problem, was looked at as something is like, oh my God, I have to do this right now. That's kind of, I have to work from home. That kind of sucks, et cetera, et cetera. So, but then as it did not go away, right? We were in a lockdown for a few weeks in some states and a few months in other states. As it did not go away, people started making adjustments for it. Lives and the dynamics of life started to change. So as that happened, different habits were created. And then what happens is that on summer and fall, when some companies said, okay, guys, if COVID is over, come back in, a lot of people did not want to come back in. A lot of people said like, no, I've been now at home. I have a better relationship with my children now. I'm a better dad. I'm a better mom because I can be there for the kids. I can step away from work for a few minutes to supervise homework. I can give my son or daughter a hug or get a quick hug. I can take my work over to the soccer game or to the baseball game and continue work on my phone while I'm there, right? I have so much more freedom that I'm working from home than I did before. Now then the second wave hit, right, of COVID, and people were sent back home again because even those companies said, okay, they got pushed back, but then COVID came back, the winter came again, COVID got rampant again, and everyone was sent back home again. And now we are in the third or fourth wave of COVID, and most companies have now said, you know what, coming back to the office has been postponed indefinitely. And in other words, what that has meant is that we have now 2 years, a lot of companies have now been working from home, and it's become the new norm. Now, what that means is that not every firm, like certain attorney firms, you can't do it. Like if you're a lawyer and you have work to do at the courthouse, eventually the courthouses are going to go back to physically court in session, and you can't move away from your city 5 hours away to somewhere else, instead, because you still got to be there in depositions and things and in court sometimes all day long. But a lot of jobs will become virtual forever. Now, what does it have to do with land flipping? What it has to do with land flipping is a lot. That we now got millions, not thousands, not 10,000s, not hundreds of thousands, millions of people whose job can be 100% run virtually. And those people now have a choice. And that choice is here to stay. And their choice is that they have a choice of being able to go and to live wherever the heck they want to live. And what that has led to is a huge migration inside of the United States. It has led to people moving in droves out of San Francisco, in droves out of Chicago, in droves out of the cold climates. It used to be restricted to only the snowbirds would move away from there. They're like, I'm done, I'm retired, no reason to stand the cold winters anymore. Let me move to Tennessee, to North Carolina, to South Carolina, to Florida, to Texas, to wherever it is. And let me move away. But now everyone can move away. And not everyone moves to the south. People just move to the lake. They move to buy 20 acres and as long as they have internet access somewhere and electricity, so they can hardwire some in there. As long as they have cell phone reception, they can do hotspot. They can still work from everywhere in the world. So the United States, everything, the properties outside of the big cities, the rural areas, which, as you guys know, is 2 of our top 3 areas that we focus on, have gone on fire with people wanting to have that land to move there, build something there, spend time there, because their work is no longer restricting them from doing that and living there. They can do their work from anywhere in the country. Second thing is, the way we live has changed through COVID. People say, so I've heard somebody said that, and it actually hit me like lightning, because it's true, because in Europe we grow up differently. As you guys know, I'm growing up in Germany, and yes, I'm born in 1970, so that's way past the Second World War, but my dad was born in 1944. My grandfather was born in 1918. So I grew up with stories of how life was, how the Second World War, the Nazi times and things like that, and all the destruction and all the wars and the losses and things and the hardships, how that affected everyone's life back then. But in the United States, we haven't had a war in, I don't know how long, like 100 and something years, right? 120, 130, 150 years, whatever it was, whenever the Civil War was here. I admit I'm not the best at history here. So what happens is, So what happens is when we haven't had a war. Like when World War II happened, I think something like 300,000 or 400,000 Americans died, but they didn't die here. There was no bombs other than Pearl Harbor, but falling in the United States. But and yet the Russians, I think, lost 9 million people. Like Germany lost lots of people, and of course they were at fault for the war. I'm just not. But the impact on the society was huge over there, and was somewhat limited over here. Yet COVID has affected every single life in the United States. It's affected every life in the United States. Our life is being lived differently today than it was before March 2020. Right? Life is completely lived differently. People had a chance to reflect on their priorities in life. And some of the priorities that have changed in life is that people say, well, very functionally, number one, people say like, well, if I already live and work from home, and my spouse already lives and works from home, and the kids are a little bit more at home, then we need a bigger house. which is one of the reasons that have spurred that real estate, that the housing market is so on fire, combined of course with low interest rates, right? So the second part that has actually also happened here, though, is that again, the way of living, families are living closer together, they're spending more time together, and they're like reflecting on what they want out of life. And what they want out of life is more freedom. Right? There's more freedom. One freedom comes from being able to work from at home, but another freedom is from, hey, I want to live to enjoy life now, right? Not later once you retire. But we are looking to step into life visions right now. It's a great awakening that's happened. Exactly, Michelle. Right? So as a result, what they're doing is they're moving. They're still got to work. They still might have to go to the office once a week. But they're reflecting, do I need to live in a condo that I'm paying $3,000 a month in rent for, and that my neighbor coughs and I get COVID? Or can I move outside in the path of growth, build a house there, and then have an hour commute into work, but I'd only do that perhaps once a week? Right? So that's what's happening right now. And there's no reason to think that this will all of a sudden stop. Because even if COVID disappears tomorrow, new life habits, new life grooves have been created. We're living life differently. And that's what the person said, what I want to say is COVID has had a bigger impact on the United States and the way we live than the Second World War. And I believe that. Because again, the Second World War had certain impact on the United States because a lot of soldiers went and so on, and the Vietnam War had impact on the United States. But life, for those who were not sent overseas, stayed more or less the same. Well, right now, life did not stay the same for any person in the entire United States. Life changed for everyone. Right? So COVID had a bigger impact on the life in the United States than anything we've really seen in the last 100 years. So as a result, these changes, these move towards the land, these move to having space, these move to have a place to horse around on the weekend, this move to enjoy life more is actually here to stay. And with that, what that means for the real estate industry is the real estate market is expected, and my expectation, Michelle's expectation, we expect it to stay hot at least for the next year or 2 years. My crystal ball, I do not feel comfortable predicting anything beyond, let's say, a couple of years from now, because obviously we don't know what interest rates and other things are doing in the meantime, right? So that's something else. So we have also, as Michelle mentioned in the comments here, we have also had the great resignation happening because of that. People are like, no, they're not willing to put up with the grind that they were willing to put up anymore, right? It's the COVID has given people the opportunity to reevaluate the way they want to live life, right? And priorities and old structures of working 9 to 5 in an office and talk about the water over the water cooler kind of stuff and so on. No, instead, life has become open to move around, to live where you want to live, and these things, and land is coming smack right into the middle of that. Because guess what? What's on the outskirts of land? What's off the outskirts of bigger cities? Land. Where can you give people more space? On the outskirts of bigger cities. Where are people, the outdoors people, they're not going to postpone getting that RV anymore. People are not postponing getting those 20 acres anymore. We are here. This is a hot market, right? This is a hot market, and COVID and the life changes that it's brought with it are continuing to drive the demand for land well into the future. So right now is the right time to be there. Now, at this point, people are asking, well, Jack, how about the housing market? Aren't we in a bubble? We have like 20-30% increases in values on houses and prices, and it's absolutely crazy. I agree. There is some exuberance in certain markets. Michelle and I just came back from Hawaii. We rented a condo in a beautiful community, but prices in that community, like we're just renting, right? We're just hanging out there renting. And as we're renting there, we rented the same condo half a year ago for a month in July and spent there. And there was a property that was on the market for 12 months without any offers. And all of a sudden, something like crazy happened. Within 2 days, they got 3 offers. And since then, any property in that unit that comes up is being bid up literally by 7 figures and prices going through the freaking roof, and anything on the market is like being snatched up like freaking crazy. Why? Well, it comes down to the same thing, right? It comes down to the same thing that a lot of people with a lot of money are basically saying, like, screw that. I'm just going to buy the place of my dream. I'm just going to buy my condo close to the ocean and hang out there, or the house close to the ocean and things like that. But the same thing is happening also all over the rest of the country. People are like, screw that. If we're going to work from home, let me buy a house. So a lot of it is being driven by demand of people saying like, hey, I want to be there. But also other factors are playing in. And another factor that plays in right now is obviously inflation. Right? We are dealing with 5-6% official inflation, which really means about 10 or 12% hidden inflation, because the government always goes and calculates inflation such that it artificially looks low. Right? They even kick out stuff out of the inflation basket that should be in there, but they're kicking it out so that inflation looks lower. Well, if in that artificially low inflation, that's at 6%, then we're really talking about that there is a 10 or 12% inflation happening right now, which is crazy. With that said, though, what that does when high inflation happens, again, State of the Union, that means that people are driven to hard assets. And what are hard assets? Houses and land. Right? These are traditional assets that have gone up with inflation, and they don't crash on that. Now, helping this is people say, like, oh my God, are we in 2007 again? Is everything going to crash? And the answer is, to me and all the people that I talk about, and Michelle and every people that we talk about, is a clear no. Right? It is a clear no. And the reason why it's no, it's like we don't anticipate a crash. Very simply, the underwriting rules that we're seeing right now compared to 2007, 5, 6, 7, and so on are completely different. They're completely different. So let's say if you want to buy a house, now you can still get an FHA loan for 3% down and so on, but then you got to get mortgage insurance. So the lenders are not at risk. Now, if you're buying an investment property, you do need to come up with 20%, right? And guess what? They are going, we just refinanced our house here, right? We bought an investment property in Sedona, Arizona to be used as an Airbnb, as a short-term rental. And the amount of qualifying that we needed to go through to get a loan on that property was insane. There's restrictions to Dodd-Frank right now that and have been in place since 2009 or 10, that you have to, that your amount of the amount of monthly payments have to be within a certain ratio of your income. That was not the case in 2004, 5, 6, 7. You could just get what's called a liar loan. Right? You could just go out there and get a loan and just say, yeah, you're I don't know, literally, you're homeless and jobless. It's like, I'm making $1 million a year, and they would give you a $3 million house. You cannot, almost none of that is existent right now. Like, you have to, if you want a $3 million house, you got to show the income that you can pay for it. Say, first of all, you got to come down probably with a $600,000 down payment, and then you got to show the ability to pay a $2.4 million loan, and on top of it, that loan payment cannot be more than a certain percentage of your income. Very, very tight underwriting, very, lots of rules and lots of disqualifiers there. So as a result, almost every person that's bought a house right now in the last couple of years, or really in the last 8 years, has properly been able to qualify for that loan, right? And unless we're hitting something unexpected where we have a mass unemployment again, right? In which case we already know the government is going to step in and support everyone, right? Which they have done already. Then there is, my opinion, no expectation of a market crash. Now, if interest rates go up, as the Fed already explained that interest rates will go up, what it will do is it will dampen the growth. So we won't be seeing this kind of value growth anymore in the housing market. It's going to dampen up, and potentially it's going to flatten to a zero growth, right? But I don't see, and perhaps in some markets even a slight dip, but I don't see a crash coming anywhere, right? So on top of it, as Michelle mentioned, then there's still another asset class in real estate is on fire, and that's multifamily. multifamily and actually warehousing, commercial real estate and warehouses are on fire because more and more people, warehouses because people order more online. So Amazon and all these companies, they're going more and more into micro warehousing concepts where they keep like the 500 or 5,000 or 1,000 most popular products very close by, and therefore within like 10 miles of the delivery, so they can deliver by like same day. And that's a concept that's taking traction right now. So even smaller warehouses are flying off the shelves right now, and this is a development that's going to continue. But multifamily is also going on in many markets. Multifamily has hit prices that now make it feasible to build new multifamily again. Right? Not in the rural area, not in the small town with 10,000 people. Probably multifamily there sells for $50,000 a unit, and that's not enough to build new units. But the bigger markets like Dallas, like Denver, like Phoenix, like LA, like any big city, like the top 15 big cities in the United States. The cost per unit in many of these, cost per apartment unit is so high by now that it actually makes sense for builders to come in and build more. And what that means is, guess what? What are apartments built on? On land. Again, so it's a little bit niche. It's more of these high-end ones that I talked about earlier, like the $5 million land that you can get for $2 million and sell to a developer for $3 million, like those kind of things. But still, it still drives land. Also, again, there is actually under many markets in the United States. That's an effect. I'm sorry, I'm going pretty long here, but I hope you guys enjoying this. I mean, can I get a heck yes if you guys enjoy this? Can I get a thumbs up if you guys enjoy this? Hopefully that makes sense. Now, and then there's another factor here, and that is because of 2008, 9, and 10 that wiped out a whole bunch of builders. There was a hesitancy. There was a lot of builders came back into the market very slowly. So they came in, they hesitated to build a lot, right? So as a result, even though we are in this boom of demand for houses, the United States is growing through immigration and birth rates by several million people a year, right? They're all getting into an age that they want their house right now. We are actually not building even anywhere close to enough houses. So the building permits compared to the demand is a clear mismatch right now. And you can check that into your counties. Go to your local REIA, talk to some people, talk to the county, talk to the city, and so on. So as a result, there is a backlog of need for land and lots. So the developers are fighting over these things and moving further out and so on. So you combine all of that, it's just what it means as a State of the Union summary of all of these things together. Interest rates are low, they're going to go up, so we're going to see probably a leveling off of prices. But number two, though, we're not going to see a dump, like a crater in. Demand is high. Demand will continue to be high for houses. The market will continue to be healthy. Demand for land will continue to be on fire because, again, we're lagging on these building permits. So the builders need more land. They're going further out to buy land. So guess what? They're going into the path of growth, which is exactly where we're active, right? We're seeing that the life of people have changed, the way that they're moving around life, the way that their living life has changed, which leads to the demand of the recreational properties because they're like, screw that, I'm just going to enjoy my weekend with my family. And if I need to work, I can still work off my hotspot in my RV, right? And they're going out on trips on there. They're buying the 20 acres out there in the rural areas. They're buying the land out there to build a house on there. So land is here to stay. The demand is high. The buyers are abundant. The sellers will always sell. We're always going to have sellers that sell. So we are continue to be in the best market that we can see. We don't see many risk factors in terms of a crash at all. Again, that's our forecast for 2022. I hope you guys enjoy that. And with that said, that concludes right now the State of the Union right now. So therefore, we want to also the final words here. We want to equip you with three things to focus on, what we ourselves are focusing on in our own investment Number one is pivot to higher priced properties is really a subject matter that we're going to talk about a lot this year, right? Because the effort of getting a deal where you make $100,000 is the exact same as if you're making $5,000 on a deal. So why not? So work on your own confidence. So with our coaching students, we're going to work on confidence building, on understanding the concept, on understanding the pieces, on understanding those higher end deals and how to make them happen. Because we want you to get 6-figure deals, 7-figure deals closed, right? Focus on the team, both on the acquisition side, the sales side, the processes. So like we want you to build a kick-ass team around you that can help you do 100 deals a year, make that $1 million or $2 million a year, while at the same time having more time and more freedom than you ever had in your life. Who wants that? Again, put it in the comments again here. And number 3, you want to focus on what we also do is we invest. So we are hiring right now. We are hiring a land salesperson in our department. We want somebody, and again, another full-time person to help us sell our own land. So if anyone interested in working with us on selling land, let us know. Put it in there or send me a direct message, right? Focus on the team, and then ultimately you want to invest in yourself and your team, right? If you don't consider yourself an investor, please know that the face of an investor looks like you, right? The face of an investor looks like you. You are an investor. And as an investor, you got to work on constantly expanding your horizon, on expanding your abilities, and expanding on what you can do with the same, right? So you're the first asset that you should investing in, right? So with that said, again, changes and advances now happen much faster. Sometimes they talk in real estate about real estate working in an 8 to 12 year cycle. Let me tell you what, you make those investments in yourself now. You build a team, you get into coaching, you do the things that you need to do to actually bring yourself forward, and that change of your life situation, that change of your lifestyle, that change of your life, of your capabilities and confidence and where you are in life can happen like this. In a matter of 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you can live a completely different life than you have ever lived before. So with that said, guys, again, make sure you register for a masterclass, landprofitmaster.com, and I will see you over there. Right? Thank you very much. Right? See you guys there. Thanks. Bye-bye.